All right, all right. What up, AP Youth? How you doing tonight? Come on, let me know. You better let me know. I'm going to give you, hold on. Yep. Okay. Hey, AP out there, how you doing tonight? All right. Good. I'm glad you're here, man. Hey, that bumper video, I mean, if we ain't going to do anything different in 2023, we're going to have some banger music, okay? All right, we always got cool music around here. But here's the thing. Can we just give it up for our worship team leading us in anointed, presence-filled worship? Listen, I don't say this like arrogantly. I'm going to try not to take up all my time. I don't say this like arrogantly, okay? But I'm telling you, our worship team is like the best, okay? They are amazing. They bring it every single month at United Nights. I mean, they want you involved. Listen, one of our house rules around here, we'll talk about another one in a second, but one of our house rules is we are worship leaders. Not the people on the stage. The people on the stage, may have a title of worship leader, but you're a worship leader too. Did you know that? Because worship's not a spectator sport. It's not. Worship is not a spectator sport because the same God that these people on this platform are worshiping is your God too. He created you. He gave you life. He gave you breath. So we should give it up. We should be grateful for them. And so here's the thing. Welcome. Welcome to the first AP Youth Gathering of 2023. Let me ask you this. How many of y'all have written 2022 at some point already, okay? It's going to take us a little while to get used to it. Like you go to type it in, and I'm like typing 2022 or 22. It's not. It's 23. But that's okay. And holy Moses, man, last year flew by for me. I don't know about you. Like, did anybody else feel like 2022 went quick? It was fast, man. It was the fastest year to date. And it flew by. It's come and gone. But we have a ton on tap this year that I want you to be a part of. A couple things I want to hit up front. Okay, hold on. Everybody say, hold up. Okay, all right. I mean, if I spill any, it ain't going to make a difference because you guys I'm just kidding. Okay. There's a couple things happening that you need to be a part of. Look at your neighbor, say, get ready. Look at your other neighbor, say, you need to hear this. 21 Days with God started this past Sunday, okay? What is 21 Days with God, you say? I don't know what 21 Days with God is, Pastor Ryan. Can you tell me? You sure? I sure can. Listen, you bet. 21 Days with God is basically a fasting and prayer initiative. What does that mean? Well, we take the beginning of every single year and we give it to God, right? How we start something is how we want to finish something. So we start the year dedicating it to God through prayer and fasting. Now, you probably heard of prayer before, but some of y'all ain't ever heard of fasting. You have, but you don't know what the heck it is, okay? Fasting is just when we deny ourselves physically so that we can grow spiritually, okay? And you see it in the Bible. You see it all throughout the Bible. And so what we do is we fast food of some sort, okay? The Bible also tells us we don't like kind of brag about what we're fasting and make it look like we're, but I'm going to share this. I'm going to be your big brother for a second, okay? Can I be your big brother for a second? Okay. Like I'm fasting lunch this whole week. I'm doing some other things the whole time, but like I'll give you an example. I'm fasting lunch this whole week. And when I fast on my lunchtime when I'm normally eating, guess what I'm doing? I'm reading and praying, right? And so I'm denying myself physically so that I can grow spiritually. Because anytime that we resist our flesh and we listen to the Holy Spirit, we grow. That's what fasting does, okay? So you need to be a part of 21 Days with God. You need to get some kind of fasting and prayer initiative. You don't know where to start? I got you. We made a whole book, okay? A whole book that has fasting targets. It kind of rotates, so you fast something different every day, so you ain't got to do the whole, like, one thing all 21 days, you know what I'm saying? It's something different every day, okay? And it gives you a scripture to read and something to pray for. I mean, it's done for you. All you got to do is pick it up and go with it, okay? Ain't nothing to it but to do it. And you can get those out at guest services after the service, okay? So I got you. You need to be a part of that. Look at your neighbor, say, second thing. Look at your other neighbor, say, second thing. We got baptisms January 29th, okay? The last Sunday of the month. If you've given your life to Jesus and you've never been baptized, that is your next step. They're going to tell you more about that at the end of service. You'll be able to sign up, okay? But baptisms, January 29th. It's going to be amazing. We celebrate in a big way. We already have some of you signed up for it, okay? So I'm excited and pumped about that. We got a lot going on, too. Listen, we're having a parent event every quarter this year. Every quarter, we're having a parent event for your parents because we believe we're better together. This year for a youth camp, we're going to try. We'll try. Lee's watching this. He knows. Well, we're going to try and take 2 charter buses to camp, y'all, okay? 2. We took 1. We've been taking 1, okay? All right, we post up. We pull through with 1, but we're going to try and pull through with 2 this year. We got room for 92 people to go to camp. All right? Listen, we got a bunch of events planned throughout the year that are going to be bangers, but can I challenge you with something real quick? Can I? Yeah? Say yeah. Okay. That was kind of weird, but anyway. Can I challenge you with something? I need you. No. Let me take that back. You need you to commit to being at AP Youth this year. You need to commit to being here at AP Youth this year. Commit to it. If you want a New Year's resolution, that is a great place to start. We're going to be doing some big United Nights. It's going to be a bunch of hype, but you don't need to commit to hype. You need to commit to hope. Okay? You need to commit to hope. And the only way that you can have hope is from a vibrant relationship with Jesus. It's the only thing that's going to get you there, okay? Hype won't get you there, but hope will. You need to commit to being all in here so you can live all in out there. Because some of y'all got a disconnect, right? You get in here and you're like, okay, yeah, this is going to be it. This is going to be it. I'm going to do it. I'm going all in. I'm going to do it. Jesus, thank you. You get your like joyful noise song. You do all that. And then you get out in your school and you're like, ooh. Right? But you need to commit all in here so that you can live all in out there, okay? If you're looking for a New Year's resolution, that's a good place to start. Here's another good New Year's resolution. Check this out. Look on the screens. This next house rule. This needs to be the last United Night that you don't take notes. Okay? Because one of our house rules around here, and it's not really like a rule, like if you don't do it, you're going to get in trouble. They're more like identity statements, because when you know who you are, you know who you're not. Right? When you know who you are, you know who you're not. And so this is one of our house rules. We are note takers. We live our life by God's truth, so we make sure we take in as much as we can, okay? So if you're not taking notes right now, don't feel all like ashamed or something like that. You're like, oh gosh, everybody's going to know. It's okay. That's why we sell notebooks out at the merch table. They cost us $9. We sell them for $8. I want to get them in your hand so that you can start writing down, because I'm not telling you to take notes because I think I got something good to say. No, okay? If you are going off of what I say and my ideas and my wisdom and my opinions, like, you in a bad way, okay? You need to write down God's truth. You need to write down what the Lord is speaking to you and showing to you on these Wednesday nights, on United Nights and group nights. You need to be taking notes, because you can't live your life by God's truth if you can't remember it, if you can't apply it. The best way to look back on it is write it down. Here, y'all, give me y'all's notebooks real quick. Come on now. Come on. Look at this. You know what this is right here? This is truth that they have put on savings. Anybody got a savings account or bank account in here? You got a cash card? Anybody, right? Somebody, all y'all should know, these girls right here, they're putting truth in the savings account. And when they need it, they can go back to it. Okay? Y'all need to be taking notes. Thank you, girls. Y'all give it up for them. Pretty notebooks. Mine don't even look that good. I'm just kidding. Mine look better. But anyway, speaking of New Year's resolutions, we are starting a brand new series I'm really excited about. We have a brand new year ahead of us, okay? And it is the right time of year to set goals, okay? Anybody set any New Year's resolutions already? Anybody? Come on. You did, right? Like, it is the right time of year to set some goals. But this time of year, I always wonder, why is this the right time? Like, besides the numbers changing from 2022 to 2023, right? Like, what's the difference? You want to know the answer? You want to know the answer? All right, you ready? Wait for it. Wait for it. No, that's actually the title of my message. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Okay, that's the title of tonight's. Look at your neighbor. Say, hey. You got to say it like I say it now. Okay, you got to say it like I say it. You ready? Wait for it. Look to your other neighbor. Say, wait for it. Listen. Here's the reality. If you want to set out to make some kind of change, if you want to set some goal, or if you want to have the resolve to accomplish something new and different in your life, the last thing that you want to hear somebody tell you is, hey, you should wait. Like, you have your mind set on something that you want. The last thing you want to hear is, hey, you should wait. You should wait. You should wait on that. Who wants to wait on something that they want? Nobody. Nobody. When it comes to anything we want, we do not want to hear any of these phrases. How about this one? When the time is right. Bro, some of your parents tell you that, right? And you're just like, yeah. When you want something, how about this one? You should wait until. Or how about this one? How about this one? This is the one. Hey, man, I really want to do so. Can I do this? Not yet. Not yet. That's actually where the title of this series comes from. Not yet. When you were a kid, or maybe even this morning, okay, have you ever heard the phrase, not yet? You want to do something, they say, not yet, right? Maybe you're being told, like, hey, can I have a snack? Not yet. Not yet. It's too early. My kids ask me this all the time. They will eat dinner. My son does this. And my wife gives in to him, and I can say that because she's not here to defend herself. My wife gives in to him. He will eat dinner, and I'll say, hey, no snacks before bed. Yes, sir. We'll be sitting there watching Blippi. Who else loves Blippi now, okay? Blippi's my boy, okay? My guy Blippi's got swag. He's got drip, okay? And he'll say, okay, you got to imagine my son. My son's 2. His name's Evan. Okay, some of you girls know. He'll go, Dad, my snack. How do you say no to that? How do you say no? Right? Or maybe, how about this? You might have said this one. You might have said this one recently. Can I open this present? Your parents said, not yet. Like, oh gosh. Well, I gotta wait any longer. What does it matter, right? It's here under the tree right now. Let's go. Or how about this? Some of you older. Can I stay out past midnight? Not yet. Not yet. Right? There are going to be, listen, and here's the thing. You're going to be hearing the phrase, not yet, a lot over these next 4 weeks. But hopefully, this new series will help you to see why the phrase, not yet, can actually be a good thing. But before we dive in, I want to know real quick, okay? I want to hear some of your responses. What do you hate to wait for? Dinner? Dinner? Food? You guys should be full. Y'all killed the pizza out there. What else do you hate to wait for? Huh? Payday. Be like you like open up your purse and like moths fly out. You know, like you're so broke. You open up your wallet and dump out dust. You know, waiting on date night. Boy, you ain't going on dates, bro. That boy capping right there. I know that boy capping. What else do you hate to wait for? Sleeping? How many of you are like night owls? You like to stay up, right? Okay, how many of you are not, but you like to sleep in? You hate people waking you up, right? Hey, here, let me give you a few of mine real quick, okay? How many of you in here drive? How many of you drive? Okay. You go. Y'all don't drive. More capping in the back. Why y'all middle schools cap so much? Okay, here's the thing. Here's what I hate waiting for. If you drive, you feel me. You ready? I hate waiting for somebody to go when they get the green arrow. Oh my gosh. Woo! I'm preaching right now. Here's the thing. If you are in front of me in a turn lane and we're waiting on the green arrow, you have about 0.476 seconds to go after that arrow turns green, or I'm honking at you. Anybody else with me? I'm like, you What are you doing? Right? And here's the thing. After you honk at them, they got the audacity to take that turn as slow as they can. I don't understand. If you don't have to be somewhere, why are you out going somewhere? Answer me that. Hey, you know what else I hate to wait on? Some of y'all said this right here. But I'm gonna be more specific. I hate to wait on my food to cool down. Listen, the roof of my mouth is burnt right now because I couldn't wait on my dinner to cool down last night. My wife cooked barbecue chicken legs, one of my favorite things in the world. And she's like, hey, these are kind of hot. And I fasted lunch. So your boy's stomach is eating his spine. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, I got it. And I'm like, and it just burnt the top of my mouth. I can't taste the rest of my food now. And I hate wait. I don't know why. I know it's going to happen. But how many Hot Pockets? Oh, Hot Pockets will get you, okay? They will get you. We hate to wait, right? Waiting can be frustrating. Maybe it's like a slow-moving line, right? Like you're in a line waiting, and then the other line moves, so you get over in that line, and then that line moves. It's just like, what is going on? Like a slow move. How about this one? Maybe you can be frustrating waiting on your ride to come and pick you up. Yeah, Sean knows about that one right there. Sean knows about that. If y'all don't know Sean, me and Sean used to hang out to about 9:30 every Wednesday night because his mom would not come and get him or something. Forget it, I don't know. It was always Sean. We'd be coming back from camp. We'd be like 4 hours out. Like, Sean, call your mom, tell her we'll be there in 30 minutes, okay? Maybe it's waiting on somebody to come pick you up. Maybe it's, how about this one? How many of you got a sibling? Brother, sister? Okay. How about waiting on that person in your house who takes so long to get ready and takes up the bathroom? You're like, yo, I got to go. You got to get out of there. Hey, I'll tell you right now, okay, I'm very fortunate in my house. The toilet is separate. Like it's in its own little room called a water closet. It's like the best thing ever, okay? Because like you don't have to wait. I don't have to wait on somebody to get out of my bathroom for me to go in there. If they're just doing their business, they got the door closed. I could get ready or do whatever, brush my teeth, whatever I got to do, right? But whatever it may be, okay, insert your example here. We hate to wait. Say that. We hate to wait. Come on, say it. We hate to wait. But can I tell you this right here? Waiting seems less impossible when we know it'll be worth it. Because you will wait on some stuff. How about your favorite roller coaster? You standing in line for that thing, you don't care what, storm, animal, chase, you don't care. You will stand in line for something like that, right? Maybe that new phone, right? You'll go get in a line for that, or you'll put it on pre-order. You're cool with that as long as you get it, right? It's worth the wait. Or maybe it's getting something for your birthday, or if you know it's going to be worth it, we somehow find a way to wait. If we know it's going to be worth it, we find a way to wait. Let me ask you this, and I don't want you to answer this one out loud, okay? But I want you to evaluate a little bit. What is something that you think is worth waiting for? I don't want you to answer it out loud, okay? Think on it for a second. Don't talk. Don't collaborate. What is something that you think is worth waiting for, and how long are you willing to wait for it? Because some things that we say are important to us, we won't wait on. But some things that we would say, it's not that important, we're willing to wait. We got our priorities out of order. Maybe you're at the age, maybe you're feeling like you're being told not yet. Maybe you're waiting to get out of middle school. You're just waiting. Not yet. Maybe you're waiting to learn how to drive. Maybe you're waiting to graduate. Maybe you're waiting to get a job. Maybe you're waiting to be allowed to date. Maybe you're waiting to move out and go to college. Or maybe you're waiting to vote. Like this kid right here. Check this out.
Do you think kids should be able to vote?
No. If they got a chance to vote, they might make a wrong choice. You have to grow up and think everything through before you start to vote.
Do you think you would make a good president?
I don't think right now, but probably in the future. Look, you can be the president, because if you were the president, you'd have to, like, you might not know, like, how much work you get and how stressed you'd probably get, because a bunch of people will be crowding around you and, like, taking pictures, and you'll be, like, really stressed, because, like, a bunch of cameras coming down at you, maybe even helicopters just taking pictures, is, like, very stressing.
How do you know all this?
Like, listening to, like, the facts that are, like, really important, and it's taught me a lot.
How old are you?
6. I think we're good.
Are you done here?
Yep.
No more questions?
No more questions. I'm good now.
Well, thank you, sir.
Bye.
Oh, man. This kid seems to have a pretty wise approach to something that we all struggle with, right? Sometimes, how about this? Listen to me. Sometimes we want the opportunities that come with growing up without the responsibilities that come with it. Like, hey, some of y'all are like, I cannot wait till I move out of this house and get my own place. You know what comes with your own place? An electric bill, right? A water bill, sewage bill, internet bill, cell phone bill, solid waste, right? Trash bill, insurance, renter's insurance or property insurance, right? All these things come. We want the opportunities that come with getting out of one season and getting into the other, but without the responsibilities of it. So what do we do with these wants that require the experience that we don't have yet? It's not like we'll never get there, but living in the not yet is not easy. It's not like you'll never get to the age where you can get a driver's license. Maybe you don't get a car. I don't know about that. But, like, it's not like you'll never get there. It's not like you'll never graduate, hopefully. Some of y'all, whew. Okay, I'm just kidding. But it's not like you won't get there. It's just not what? Yet. Not yet. So what do you do in the meantime? And listen, if you ever want to skip ahead in your story, or you've ever wanted to skip ahead in your story and see what kind of person you'll become and what your future holds, I think you're going to like this series. Okay? For the next few weeks, we're going to talk about these questions and fears and frustrations and excitement that come with thinking about our future. And listen, if you are a senior, it doesn't matter if you got 6 months left before you graduate or 6 years left before you graduate. You need to lean in. You need to lean in because you're on the verge of stepping into some of these topics, especially if you're like a senior, okay? You're on the verge of stepping into some of these seasons. And sometimes stepping into something that you're not prepared for can do you more harm than waiting until you're ready. I know so many times it's like we hear, not yet. You can't go there yet. You can't do that yet. And we're so eager and we think waiting is going to kill us. But for some of us, if we step into the season that we want, whether it be graduating or moving out or dating or whatever it is, if we step into it prematurely without being ready, it'll actually hurt us more than standing back and waiting. It will. When we think about the future, there's so many reasons we might feel frustrated with our progress in the present. Maybe you're taking longer to develop a skill than you thought you would have, right? Maybe you're continuing to make the same mistakes over and over again, mistakes that you promised you would never make again. Maybe you're not sure how to make progress in the areas where you want to grow. Some of you have no idea how to grow spiritually. You don't even know what it looks like. You want to grow spiritually? Yeah, that sounds great. But how? How? You know, whenever I was 18, I was a senior in high school, I had a great job. And I knew God had called me into ministry, and so I had this job, and I graduated, right? Graduated, cool. I was one of those people, listen, if you're one of these people that are so ready to get out of high school, like that was me. I was so ready to get out. I was so ready to be done, right? But when I graduated, I knew I wanted to go into ministry, but I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't have any idea. I just know I wanted to. I wanted to step into the season of being in ministry. I knew God had called me to be a youth pastor, but I didn't know what it would look like. Where am I going to go? We had a youth pastor at my church. You know, I couldn't just kick him out and take a spot. I couldn't do that. So what am I going to do? Am I going to throw a dart on a map or something? Where am I going to go? But I resolved in my mind, because I had a youth pastor that loved me and cared about me. And I asked him, I said, Pastor Jeremy, what am I going to do? I know I'm called into ministry, but I'm graduating. And he told me this. He said, serve where you are. Do what you know to do. And he said, and if you're faithful and you serve the Lord in this season of waiting, he'll see it and he has something for you. And guess what? I did that for 2 years. 2 years. Now, think about whatever it is you want to step into. What are you trying to step into? What do you want to start? A season of dating, like you want to start dating people, you want to be allowed to date. You can't wait until you can like get your license and get a car and kind of have some freedom. You can't wait until like, you're ready to graduate and get out and get your own place. And some of you may be right on the verge of that. But what if I told you you had to wait 2 more years? Sometimes 2 years can seem like forever, doesn't it? But I served 2 years at my local church, and I served wherever I could and did whatever I could, and I won't go through all of that, but in due time, in God's perfect time, I got presented with the opportunity to be the youth pastor here. And that was 12 years ago. See, no matter how old you are, it's normal, okay, to occasionally feel unhappy with the progress that you're making. How many of you have ever felt unhappy with the progress that you've made before? You're like, I wish I could go faster, right? I wish I could go faster. For some of us, that frustration might even like lead us to work harder and get more frustrated with ourselves. For others, frustration might make us give up and try something else or stop trying at all, right? Whether it's our hobbies, whether it's your grades, whether it's graduation, we have to figure out how to make progress while being patient with ourselves at the same time. We have to figure out how to make progress and still have a perspective on the season that we're in. Still see the season for what it's worth. And as we're waiting on the not yet of our futures, you might find yourself asking big questions like, who am I? What am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to be? What does my future hold? What is my purpose? And if that's you, I want to read to you tonight out of the book of Ecclesiastes. I've never preached to youth out of Ecclesiastes. And if you're not familiar with the Bible, it's in the Old Testament, and it's kind of, hey, it's 2023. I brought my big Bible, y'all. I like big Bibles, and I can't. Okay, sorry. Brought my big Bible. This is my big boy Bible, okay? But Ecclesiastes is like wisdom literature. It's what it's referred to as. And so, can I tell you that no matter what season you're in, I know one thing that will absolutely help every single one of you. No matter how different your situation is, no matter how unique it is, this will help you right here in your situation, wisdom. Do you know the difference between wisdom and knowledge? Do you know the difference? You don't know the difference? You're not saying yes. I'll tell you the difference. Knowledge is knowing what to do. Wisdom is knowing how to do it. Right? I read this example. It's so stinking good. But how many of you got like a tree in your yard or something, like even a small one or something like that? So there are these 2 lumberjacks. They got an axe. Both got an axe, right? And they're both going to cut down a tree. And so the first lumberjack goes up to the tree and he just starts whacking. If you've ever swung an axe before, you know it does not take long for you to get winded. At least me, okay? I get like, it's just, you start swinging, he's swinging that axe. And the other lumberjack comes, he's got his axe in his hand. He's like, and the other lumberjack just swinging away. And the wiser lumberjack looks at his axe, looks at the tree, and walks back to the house. And the other lumberjack is there. And he sees him, he's like, what is he doing? And the other lumberjack comes back out of the house. He takes 1, 2, 3 cuts, and the tree falls down. And the other lumberjack isn't even a quarter of the way through. He said, what did you do? He said, well, I saw how big this tree was. I saw how dull my axe was. So I went and sharpened it and came back. That's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. The lumberjack who didn't sharpen his, he knew what to do, but the older and wiser lumberjack knew how to do it. That's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. So many of us spend so much of our time trying to gain knowledge. You need to gain wisdom. And lucky for you and for me, James 1 chapter 5 says, if any of you lacks wisdom, ask God, and he will give it without finding fault. And one of the best ways to find wisdom is in God's word. As a matter of fact, there's a whole section of the Bible, Psalms, Proverbs, Song of Solomon, stay away from that one, and Ecclesiastes. I'm just kidding, you can read it, okay? And so in Ecclesiastes is what we're going to read tonight, chapter 3, verse 1. If you have your e-Bible or your tree Bible, you can turn there. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. And I just want to read these because I think this is just so good. I love just reading God's word and kind of just taking what the Lord gives me right in the moment. I just want to read it. I want to share it. I want to break it down, okay? Ecclesiastes chapter 3, starting in verse 1, we'll go through verse 11. It says this. For everything there is a what? A season. For everything there is a season. This is a big key word that we're going to key in on tonight. Season, okay? A time for every activity under heaven. And he starts it out with a banger, okay? This is a bar because it's so true. A time to be born and a time to die. Well, you know that's true, right? Did you know that death has a 100% success rate? Everybody's going to die, it's just going to happen. So he's proven right here, he knows what he's talking about. A time to be born, a time to die. A time to plant and a time to harvest. Can I tell you how you start something will determine how you finish it? That's a cool saying. Y'all look at me. That's a real cool saying, right? Like how you start something is how you going to finish it. Say, what? That's a cool, that's a bar, but it's based on truth. Because what you plant, you will reap. That's like a farming term. What you plant, it will grow. So if you plant laziness, if you plant apathy, if you plant something that's not a good priority, that's what you're going to get. Some of y'all are prioritizing things that you shouldn't prioritize, and you're planting it, and you're going to get into another season, and it's going to be fully grown. You're going to be like, yo, what happened? I can tell you what happened. You planted something, and you got exactly what you wanted. Hey, listen, I'm your big bro. I'm trying to help you here, okay? There's a time to plant and a time to harvest. A time to kill and a time to heal. What, you supposed to go around with your blicky popping people? No. There's a time for you to stop some things in your life, and then there's a time for you to start some things too. That's good, okay? I'm preaching better than you looking at me. Y'all looking wide-eyed. Woo, okay? There's a time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build up. There's a time to cry and a time to laugh. I love you, but some of y'all, you're too funny, you can't get serious. Some of y'all are so worried about making people laugh that the Lord can't work in your life. Because every time you get around somebody, it's all about what you can get them to do and not what you can allow God to do in you. And showing up to youth is just it's a comedy show for you, so you can cut up during worship, or you could do something during the message and get people laugh and snicker and chuckle. But the whole time you're going to wish that in this season you had planted what you want to reap later. I'm saying this because I love you. Time to cry and a time to laugh. A time to grieve and a time to dance. You should have been dancing during worship. I'm just kidding, okay? You can dance, though. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones. How many of you ever heard of the story of David and Goliath? You ever heard that story before? You don't even have to be from a church background. You kind of know that. What did David use to kill Goliath with? A stone. But he didn't pick up the stone off the ground. He pulled it out of his bag. Because when he was in the field being a shepherd, before you even read about him, before he even showed up and killed Goliath, he would be walking, he would be doing what he's supposed to do, where he's supposed to be doing it, when he's supposed to be doing it. He said, hey, I'm going to save that for later. hey, I'm going to write something down. I might not need it in the moment, but I may need it later. There's a time to throw those things, but there's also a time to pick them up. Let's keep going. If you're with me, say, uh-huh. Okay. A time to embrace. Ooh. Woo. And a time to turn away. Some of y'all can't wait to get in the season where you could date somebody and the Lord's telling you, you ain't ready. Not yet. Look at your neighbor, say, not yet. Tell them you ain't ready. Because if you step into a season before you're ready, it could do more damage than waiting until you are. There's a time to embrace, and it will come. But there is a time to turn away, too. I'm just telling you, like, Pastor Ron, you don't know, bro. We love each other. We boo. Listen, I married my high school sweetheart. Okay? I did. We dated all through high school. But we're the exception, not the rule. So I know I have something to stand on. I have authority to stand on because I've been there. I've been there. And I know I'm on the other side of it. There's a time to search, and then there's a time to quit searching. How many of you ever heard anybody say, I just got to find myself? I just got to find myself. What are you doing? You ain't coming to church. I just got to find myself. Well, you know, the only place you can find yourself is with the person that created yourself. And some of us are just searching for something all out in the world. I just got to find my thing. I got to find my vibe. I got to find my tribe. And God's telling you, at least if you're here tonight, you don't need a vibe. You don't need a tribe. You need community. You need godly influences in your life. You need people who are running towards Jesus so you can run with them. I'm taking up all the time. Okay. Time to keep and a time to throw away. Yeah, some of y'all need to clean your closet out of all them skeletons you got. A time to tear and a time to mend. Hey, some of you in relationships right now, you need to rip the Band-Aid off. Just get it over with. Just get it over with. A time to tear and then a time to mend. A time to be quiet. Oh my gosh. And then there's also a time to speak. Okay, despite what your culture will tell you, despite what social media will tell you, you don't need to have an opinion on everything. Don't feel that pressure. You don't need to. You don't need to have an opinion on everything. You can't have an opinion on everything. So sometimes when people ask you a question or what you think, sometimes it's just not a time to speak. And in due time, the Bible says, though, be slow to speak and quick to listen. Right? There's a time to speak, time to be quiet. And the last one, a time to love. Oh, y'all been waiting on that one, okay? We're there. And a time to hate. A time to what? What's that say? Time to, that word ain't supposed to be in the Bible? Really? Can you believe that? There's a time to love and a time to hate. And I preached a message during the middle of the year in the summer. It was the very last one in July. It's called 3 Habits of a Healthy Heart, and we talked about that. You got to know what to hate. It says it in the Psalms too. The psalmist writes it, know what to hate. And sometimes, maybe, just maybe, God lets you get in situations that suck. I'll say it. We're going to post this on YouTube, but I don't care. Maybe God lets you get in situations that suck so you learn to hate it. So you won't go back to it. Maybe God lets you get your heart broken by that little boy toy you got, right? Or guys, by that fine, pretty young thing. Maybe, just maybe, He lets your heart get broke so you realize you don't need to be dating little boys. You need to wait till you can get you a man. Somebody who loves Jesus and will take care of your heart and cares about your heart. I'm just saying. And then he says this, verse 9, what do people really get for all their hard work? I've seen the burden God has placed on us all, yet God has made everything, here it is, everything what? Everything what? Beautiful for its own time. He's planted eternity in the human heart, but even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work. Let me tell you what this is about. It is about seasons. Say that with me. Seasons. Say that with me. Seasons. Your life will be lived in seasons. Okay? I'm going to tell you what took me a long time to figure out. Your life is lived in seasons. And I know every adult leader in this room will give me a good amen. Your life is lived in seasons. It's how it works. You go in a season and out of a season, in a season and out of a season. Your life will be lived in seasons. And the more you wish away the season that you're in, the more regret you will eventually end up with. Let me say that again, okay? The more that you wish away the season that you're in right now, the more regret you're going to have when you get there. I promise you. Time and time again, every person will tell you that. Stop living your life just to get to the next season. Listen to me. Every season serves a purpose. Let me say it again. Every season serves a purpose. Every season serves a purpose. And you'll be like, oh, Pastor Ryan, no, it doesn't. And this season sucks. It does serve a purpose if you have the right perspective. Every season serves a purpose if you have the right perspective. Let me take a little weight off of you real quick, okay? All right, everybody look at me, look at me. Everybody look at me. You don't have to have it all figured out. Oh, man, I feel good. Like you got this deadline, like 18, you better know. You better know what school you're going to, what job you want to have, how you're going to get the money to pay for it, how you're going to get the money to get how you're going to get graduated to get the job, so then you can get the job, and then you can get the money, and then you can get the house, and then you're going to do that for the next 50 years. Doesn't that sound terrible? And there's so much pressure on you. Would you agree with this? You got to know. You got to know exactly what you want to do. At 18, listen, you don't have to have it figured out. Right? Everybody tells you, I remember people telling me like in high school, like, hey man, it's about that time. You got to have a 5-year plan. I'm like, 5 years? Playboy, I'm trying to make it through the next 5 minutes, okay? You need to step back. I don't need to have a 5-year plan. I'm just trying to get through like the next 5 days. I'm trying to get through like the next 5 months, 5 years. That's a long time. And I don't think Solomon doesn't want us to ignore the slow or painful or uncomfortable moments or seasons in our lives. I don't think he wants us to simply wait for them to end so the future can just unfold. That you can learn anything in any season. Instead, I think Solomon is inviting us to realize that every bit of our lives has purpose, even the times that feel pointless or difficult. You know, the time is sped up on these videos, but all of these flowers took time to grow into what they were meant to be. And that's true for you and me as well. It takes time and effort to see the beauty of God's plan unfold for us. Listen to me. It takes time to see the purpose in each season. So if you rush it, you're going to miss it. Hear me, teenagers. If you rush it, you're going to miss it. All of these, it took time. This is so sped up. But the end result is amazing. The Bible says that he clothes the lilies of the field with splendor. If he does that, how much more will he clothe you? Will he provide for you? Will he unfold the plan that he has for you? It takes time to see the purpose in each season. None of these flowers are technically perfect, but they're still beautiful. It's still amazing. The same is true in our lives. Your life will not be perfect, so stop trying to make it that way. Life won't be perfect. Challenging things will happen to us. Things will not go our way. We'll make mistakes and we'll need to get uncomfortable in order to grow and change. Can I tell you that in a season of your life where you feel uncomfortable is a season of your life where you can grow the most? Right here, right now. Don't wish the seasons away. When these flowers bloom, it was easy to celebrate the end result. You don't listen, guys, okay? I'm going to give you a little tip real quick. do not go to the flower shop or the field or wherever, Winn-Dixie, wherever you go, and get flowers that aren't bloomed yet and give them to your girl. Don't do that. Don't no girl want to ooh, buds, thank you. Like, no girl wants that. Girls, what do you want? You want flowers. Because here's the thing. Flower buds, they aren't pretty. They don't look good, right? But the flower itself is what we're after. All those flowers took time to bloom. And when they bloom, it's easy to celebrate the end result. But can I tell you, look at me. The end result is not possible without the process. You can't skip past seasons of your life where God is trying to teach you something to prepare you for this season. Oh, this is so good. You're trying to skip past this season, but God's trying to teach you something that will prepare you for what happens in this season. And you're trying to skip past it, and you're just trying to fly by and go, and then you're going to get to this season and be like, oh, I don't know what to do. And God's like, duh, I tried to teach you and tell you. I was trying to look out for you. I tried to have your back. But you just got to, I got to go. I can't do this. I hate this. This is terrible. The end result isn't possible without the process. Before these flowers would become everything they were meant to be, they experienced long periods of waiting while growth was happening, even if it was barely noticeable. And in the same way, it feels like you're just waiting for someday. Just someday. Remember, today has so much value too. There's another book in the Bible called Revelation. And it's something that I read, and I thought it was an interesting tie-in because the language that is used, my big boy Bible right here, okay. The Bible's called Revelation, okay, written by the Apostle John. It's the very last book in your Bible, and when we think of Revelation, it doesn't make people think of like the present, it makes them think of the future because it's kind of what it's written about. It's like kind of written like as a prophecy of what's going to happen, okay? But the Apostle John writes something in Revelation chapter 21, verses 1 through 5. Solomon said, no one could understand what God has done from beginning to end, but Revelation gives us some insight into what God has in store for the future. Read this with me, okay? Chapter 21, verse 1 says, when I saw a new heaven and new earth, for the old heaven and old earth had disappeared, and the sea was also gone, and I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, new heaven, new earth, new Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven like a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. I heard a loud shout from the throne saying, look, God's home is now among his people. He will live with them, and they will be his people. God himself will be with them, and he will wipe every tear from their eyes, and there will be no more death or sorrow or crying or pain. All these things are gone forever. This passage may not make sense in the moment, but it's talking about God's future plans for all of creation. Where God's going to take all the wrongs, he's going to make them right. Where God's going to take all the pain, and he's going to show you that there was purpose in it. God's going to take all the disappointment and show you how it made you determined to get through. But there's something important here about God's plans for us as individuals. When you hear God say, I'm making everything new, doesn't that kind of remind you of what Solomon said? Right? That he would make everything perfect in its time. In both our individual lives and all of creation, God is ready and able to make something new. And when the Apostle John, he wrote the book of Revelation, he was offering encouragement to Jesus' followers then, now, and in the future, right? That God is present and at work in every moment. Can I say in every season? Then, now, and forever. God is present and at work in every moment. Look at me right here. He's present and at work in every moment when life is less than perfect, when things don't seem to be going your way, when we're longing for something that we don't have yet, when we're waiting or delayed, when we're frustrated with our progress. The words of Solomon and John help us to see that everything is a work in progress in all of creation and all of us too. I can't tell you exactly what God has in store for you. I can't tell you exactly. But here's what I do know. With God, it'll be fulfilling. With God, there will be purpose. With God, it'll be better than you could ever imagine. With God, it'll be better than anything you could do on your own. So when you feel like you're waiting for someday, just can't wait till then. Can't wait till when. Don't just ignore or wait for the uncomfortable parts of life to end. Remember how much value has today too, because here's the big idea. I want to take some pressure off of you. Listen, look to your neighbor, say you. He's talking to you. You are a work in progress. Right? And can I tell you, everybody, look at me now, look at me. And it's okay. It's okay. I know how much pressure there is to be perfect, but you're a work in progress. You're a work in progress. Jake, if you want to come up on the keys. You're a work in progress, and it's more than okay. You know, biology was my favorite subject in high school. Anybody like science, biology? That was like my favorite, okay? People love to talk about the process of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. They love to talk about the process of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. The before and the after transformation is amazing, right? It's amazing. Oh, it's pretty cool. But not many people talk about what happens in the in-between. Everybody knows, right, that a caterpillar makes a cocoon, right? Eats some leaves, eats its greens. And then it makes this cocoon where it sits and it waits. And everybody wants to talk about how beautiful the end result is, or the butterfly, or what it looks like. But during this cocoon phase, things get kind of weird. They get messy, uncomfortable. See, inside its cocoon, the caterpillar melts. It literally turns into goo. It's not pretty. It's kind of gross, actually, as some of you are figuring out. But if Solomon were a caterpillar, I'm pretty sure he would have said something about there being a time for melting into goo. Because no caterpillar can skip this step. If a caterpillar wants to become a new, beautiful thing that it's meant to become, it has to go through the process. It has to. There's no way around the nasty. There's no way around the uncomfortable. There's no way around the confinement. Some of us are looking towards our dream for the future, and we want to ignore the boring. We want to ignore the uncomfortable, the painful moments that we're in right now. Others of us haven't really thought that much about the future because we're so busy with the present. But if we want to become the people that God has designed us to be, the trick is to care about both the now and the not yet. Don't spend all your time on the not yet. Spend time on the now. And this week I want to challenge you to take 5 minutes every day to do two things. And if you're on the front row, yours is under your seat. If you're in any of the other rows, that'll be in the book rack in front of you there. There's a pen as well. I want to challenge you to do two things. And I love asking questions. I love asking questions because I think it makes you think a little bit. Like asking questions makes you evaluate. And so I want you to take 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes. You scroll. You can sacrifice scrolling for 5 minutes. And I want you to do two things here. Okay? Number one, I'm going to put this on the screen, so maybe you need to take a picture that you can't write out down. I just want you to notice the progress that you've already made. I said this to one of your adult leaders here recently. I said, man, can you believe the progress you made in a short year? Just stop and think about the progress that you made. Think about what God has done in your life over the last year. And sometimes we just got to stop, and we have to notice the progress that we've already made. So here's some ways that you can kind of flesh this out in your mind. What has God already done in your life? Why would God do something else if you're not grateful for what He's already done? right? How has your relationship with Jesus grown? How about this one? What is a big lesson that you've learned? How have you grown or changed in the last year? Ask yourself this one. What do you know or believe now that you didn't know or believe before? Take some time to reflect on the distance that you've come. Don't discredit the development that God has done in your life. And then second, I want you to do this. Ask God to help you make more progress. For some of you, all the progress you made in the last year, it may have been of your own effort and strength. Here's where things are going to change. Because when you invite God, God's not going to force himself into your process and into your season and into your waiting and into your not yet. But if you invite him in, when you invite God into that process, that's where things change. That's where things change. So here's what you could do. Since you're a work in progress, and you always will be, by the way, you've got some progress to make still. Take a few moments to reflect on how you can continue becoming the person that God made you to be. Ask these questions. What do you have about your future? What questions do you have about your future that you want God to answer? Did you know it's as simple as asking him? You just ask him. In what areas of your life do you need help trusting God more? Maybe you need help trusting God about your family situation. Maybe you need help trusting God about your relationship with your family. Maybe you need help trusting God more in the area of your future, your purpose. How about this question? What's a struggle, behavior, or temptation that you need God's help to overcome? What's one way you need God's help becoming more like Jesus? Some of you, it's as simple as just like being more kind to people. Jesus, when people approached him, Jesus didn't like, hey, fool, don't run up on me. Like, Jesus welcomed any and everybody. He loved everybody. For some of you, it's just being more gracious toward your parents. In what one way do you need God's help becoming more like Jesus? And then how about this? What's something that you know you can't accomplish without God's help? What's something that you know you can't accomplish without God's help? None of us are perfect. That's a given. But we're in the process of becoming who God has made us to be. And so you got that thing right there. And I want you to use that this week. Okay, don't write on it. Don't mess it. Don't just scribble on it. If you need another one, we'll get you another one. Okay, there's some extra ones around here. But I want you to take it serious. I want you to commit to it. I want you to be serious about it. I want you to go all in with it. I want you to put some time towards it. I want you to spend some time planting what you hope to harvest later. I want to call these little sheets of paper your not yet notes. Okay? These are your not yet notes. Some of us are looking toward our dreams for the future and ignoring the boring, the painful, but here's what I want you to do. Use that handout. Take 5 minutes this week, and I want you to write down those two things in those two categories. Okay? Go back to the first one real quick. Go back to the first one. Notice the progress you've already made, and then ask God to help you make more. And when you invite God into the process, watch what happens. Come on, bow your head and close your eyes real quick. We're going to wrap up.